Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Nelson. I'm a member here of CSL Redlands. Welcome. So let me invite you to join me in closing your eyes and breathing slowly and deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth, gently, relaxed, and unhurried. Let your shoulders relax and let them drop as you feel that tension melt away. Just breathe deeply in through the nose, out through the mouth, until it becomes steady and deep. And just feel all your muscles relax and just let them drop. And focus only on your breathing. Any distracting noise you may hear internally or externally, just recognize it. Say to yourself, next, and return to focusing on your breathing. With each inhalation, imagine you are breathing in an all-surrounding bright white light that is Divine Spirit. Let it wash over you and completely permeate every part of your body as you relax and surrender wholly and completely to Spirit. Surrender to Spirit. Dial into that universal spirit and consciousness. You are one with it. You are the thing itself. With every exhalation, envision that bright white light, that Divine Spirit that warms and comforts you, flowing back into the infinite universe from which it came and where it always resides. You are one with that universal consciousness. You are at peace. Now, imagine you are floating in a vast ocean on your back with your eyes closed, the light warming your face and body as you blend and merge with it, relaxed and worry-free. Just floating, merged with that Divine Spirit. You are in a state of bliss. All is well. Now imagine that ocean transforming into universal spirit, infinite and without form. You are merged and one with the quiet stillness. Surrounded and immersed in spirit, your awareness deepens. You let go, and let Spirit course through you. as we enter into our respective zones of consciousness, some of you may wish to softly chant a mantra. Om, God, love, joy, whichever and whatever feels right and works for you. You are free to do so without embarrassment or discomfort. You are safe and in a place of love, inclusion, and acceptance. Now, we breathe and fall into the silent bliss and oneness with Divine Spirit. Now, let us bring our awareness back into this sacred space, continuing to breathe deeply as we slowly open our eyes. Some of you may wish to wiggle your toes or gently tap your fingers, slowly tilt or rotate your head and stretch your neck, or all three. This concludes our meditation.
Everybody. Just want to tell you, you're in the right place, the right time. I'm in the right place at the right time, and I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, and I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Loud and clear, my soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time, just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, just where I'm supposed to be. And my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. This is the part where you greet your neighbor, okay? My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome, and my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. Getting the message loud and clear. Getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Welcome. got the Dream Band with us today. Al Yankee on the keyboards, David on the bass, and Tony on the drums, and yours truly. And now, oh, Iris, are you coming up? Here's Iris.
Everybody, so glad to see you. This is July 4th, a big day for us. Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Redlands. My name is Iris. I'm a member of the board. Our center is an open and inclusive community that honors all people from every background, all races, sexual orientation, gender expressions, spiritual path, and I will add, regardless of your political affiliation, we are all welcome because we're the spiritual being from God. No matter who you are, where you are on your journey of faith, you're always welcome here. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And our vision is a world that works for everybody. If you are here with us for the first time, please raise your hand and give us a wave. So great to see you here in our congregation today. We'll celebrate July 4th in our little congregation. Please enjoy our service. And now here's Gilman with our magnificent band.
Hello. Here's Al with our centering song.
You can call me Gilman if you want, but it might get confusing. So, you've been welcomed. So just relax. Hear your heartbeat. Feel the movement in the quiet and the still. Take a breath. Release it slowly. There is nothing here to do, no need to fill. Every moment's just a fantasy that's of our own device. It's gone in just the twinkling of an eye. Every memory's just make-believe, the stuff of hopes and fears that we've chosen to enshrine. I wonder why. So be at peace for a moment. For a moment's all we have. A moment's all we have. A moment's all we have and ever will.
Thank you, Al. And so I invite us to turn within as we do our opening prayer. Just allow for your outer eyes to close gently and easily. Let's take a nice inhale in together and an easy and deliberate exhale out together, letting go everything that's preceded this moment in time. And as we inhale in, we breathe in the breath of God, the breath of the divine, the universal intelligence. Just breathe that in. And as we exhale out, we release and surrender anything and everything that's preceded this moment in time. We let go of anything and everything that no longer serves us for our highest and best good. Let it go. And as we inhale in, we're open and receptive. we have fertile soil in our consciousness and awareness for a blessing, for a transformation, for a revelation, for a healing, for insight. Just see that in your mind's eye now. And with the exhale, surrender anything that does not match that perfection. Just let it go. You may or may not be consciously aware of it. It doesn't matter. Just if you're willing to surrender it, let it go. And as we inhale in on this Independence Day, we proclaim our spiritual freedom and magnificence and divinity and glory and greatness. Just feel that in your heart. Feel your worthiness. Feel that you are a sacred and precious child of the Most High God. Just breathe that in. That's the truth about you. You are a masterpiece of the divine. So what I call forth and proclaim is that every one of your needs is met on time, every time. Perfect and divine right housing, perfect employment, perfect family relationships, perfect friendships, divine right action, wholeness, holiness, joy, serenity, peace, and the wisdom that passes human understanding. And I call forth for your intuition to kick in at a greater and higher level now, knowing that this indeed, this intuition, this voice that you hear is not your voice, but the voice of the divine speaking in, through, and as you now. And so every one of your needs is met on time, every time. I'm so grateful to speak this word and know the truth. I know that CSL Redlands is an idea in the mind of God and therefore cannot be denied. So all of its needs are met on time, every time. And so how grateful I am to each of you here, for you have granted each other the sacredness of your presence, right? We're here together to celebrate life this day, this Independence Day. And for those watching remotely, we welcome you as well. Technology is good, and so we're grateful. And I know that this day unfolds with ease and magnificence, proclaiming the Dream Band a blessing. Thankful for each member. Thankful for our musical director, Gilman Carver. Thankful for each member of the Dream Band who is here. We bless Reverend Carrie as she continues on her vacation this month. We bless each practitioner who rises to be of service, each person who's willing to do our meditation as Joe did this morning so beautifully, as Iris did, and you'll see others participating each Sunday this month. So how good it is to have a beautiful congregation. Look around. You are beautiful indeed. And so with a grateful heart, I just proclaim these words, the law of life, and know indeed it is so, indeed it is fulfilled right here and right now, even before the last word is uttered. Let's just say out loud, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, and allow your heart space to fill with gratitude as we proclaim together, and so it is. And Iris has our reading.
Wisdom reading. Worth by Madison Taylor. Your worth is not a product of your intelligence, your talent, your looks, or how much you have accomplished. Though much of who and what we are changes as we journey through life, our inherent worth remains constant. While the term self-worth is often used interchangeably with self-esteem, the two qualities are inherently different. Self-esteem is the measure of how you feel about yourself at a given moment in time. Your worth, however, is not a product of your intelligence, your talent, your looks, your good works, or how much you have accomplished. Rather, it is immeasurable and unchanging manifestation of your eternal and infinite oneness with the universe. It represents the cornerstone of dual foundations of optimism and self-belief. Your worth cannot be taken from you or damaged by life's rigors, yet it can easily be forgotten or even actively ignored. By regularly acknowledging your self-worth, you can ensure that you never forget that an important, beloved, and special part of the universe you are. You are born worthy. Your worth is intertwined with your very being. Your concept of your own self-worth is thus reinforced by your actions. Each time you endeavor to appreciate yourself, treat yourself kindly, define your personal boundaries, be proactive in seeing that your needs are met, and broaden your horizons. You express your recognition of your innate value. During these periods, when you have lost sight of your worth, you will likely feel mired in depression, insecurity, and a lack of confidence. You'll pursue a counterfeit worth based on judgment rather than the beauty that resides within. When you feel worthy, however, you will accept yourself without hesitation. It is your worth as an individual who is simultaneously interconnected with all living beings that allows you to be happy, confident, and motivated. Because your conception of your worth is not based on the fulfillment of expectations, you'll see your mistakes and failures as just another part of life's journey. Human beings are very much like drops of water in an endless ocean. Our worth comes from our role as distinct individuals, as well as our role as an integral part of something larger than ourselves. Simply awakening to this concept can help you rediscover the copious and the awe-inspiring worth within each and every one of us.
Hello. The suggested theme from Centers for Spiritual Living for July is Pulled by Vision. Week 1's topic is We Hold These Truths. Now that's the beginning of a phrase that has special significance for our communities in the United States of America, and a phrase that likely relates to people all over the world. The rest of the phrase says, and this is in my own words, that it is self-evident that all people are created equal by an unconditional, all-powerful, everywhere present creative mind that has no preferences for gender, nationality, religion, or anything else. And that is a vision worth being pulled forward by. Week 2 asks the question, is your commitment greater than your resistance? It's an invitation to look at what you and I say we stand for, and then to check within to see if there is any part of us that is not in sync with the values that we claim to be ours. It's one thing to say, I believe in something like gender equity, for example, and it's another thing altogether to let go of the structures or the behaviors or the patterns of thinking that keep such inequity in place in our society. So it's a week about integrity, about making sure the inner spiritual life matches the outer social life. Then in week 3, we're presented with the pathway to freedom for us, with the topic, Free Your Mind and the Rest Will Follow. Now, this week's topic reminds me of a statement from our movement's global vision. In it says, "We see a world in which everyone lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle." Now, what might that high spiritual principle be? Well, here's how the global vision states it: unity with the divine and connection with each other. Now, imagine that. Living every day, every minute, in alignment with that. Oh, I confess it can be challenging. And though it is challenging, it is rewarding. Even if just for a moment, even if we are able to free our minds just for a second here and there, and to rest in the awareness of unity with a power greater than we are. A power that expresses itself in this world as us, through what we say and through what we do. A power that is channeled through what we think. Week 4's title is Stayed, and that's a reference to a lyric. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom, from a song created by Reverend Robert Wesby of Aurora, Illinois, in the Hinds County Jail during the Freedom Rides. He reworded an old gospel song with the word freedom for the Freedom Riders, the civil rights activists who rode interstate buses into the segregated southern United States in 1961. They were challenging the non-enforcement of the United States Supreme Court decision which ruled that segregated public buses were unconstitutional. Now, whether you are celebrating freedom in the United States of America or anywhere else in the world, this week we are using another popular rewording of that same old hymn lyric. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit, to support the idea that by keeping our attention focused on our relationship with the divine throughout the day as best as we are possibly able to do, why that is what transforms our experience. Because our perspectives and our perceptions of life are filtered through the lens of what we stay focused on. Staying focused on spirit gives us resilience and perseverance, the perseverance to meet whatever may come our way. Our suggested themes and topics and content this month come to us from D. Jacqueline Edwards of East Bay, Rafe Ellis of Sierra Center for Spiritual Living, Grass Valley, Amani Malaika, Albuquerque Centers for Spiritual Living, and Tammy Lambert of Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. I'd like to leave you with this affirmative statement from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, in Thoughts Are Things. Knowing that the divine presence is always closer to me than my very breath, I have nothing to fear. I feel this loving protection around me. I know that the song of joy, of love, and of peace is forever chanting its hymn of praise and beauty at the very center of my being.
'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. A gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. When through simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. Thank you. That's an old Shaker hymn. But we took
All
a
right.
detour
Good morning, everybody.
Here's Brother Mark.
Good morning. Okay, we got to turn down some things and turn up some things up here. I can hear all. Can you all hear a reverb? Me too. So good morning and happy 4th to everybody. My name is Brother Mark. I'm one of the licensed practitioners here at CSL Redlands, and it's a joy and honor always to be with you, right? So look around, say hello to everybody. We see Zoe's a regular now, right? Awesome. 2 times. She's so beautiful. And we miss Z. Hopefully we'll see Z sometime when you're ready. Are you ready for the 4th of July talk? And what do you think it should be called, and what do you think it should be about? The monthly theme in the video, Pulled by Vision, right? And the title for this week's talk is We Hold These Truths. And Gilman was kind enough to remind me that these words are in the Declaration of Independence. And I believe this is the 245th year of the independence of America. So the confluence of the 4th of July and this weekend's spiritual and religious celebrations in the United States is a chance to embrace a vision of freedom, justice, equality, respect, and stewardship. All people are created equal, endowed by their Creator with unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And in our New Thought and Ancient Wisdom principles, values, and teachings, we believe in and affirm the principles of individual and collective spiritual, physical, and psychological evolution. We must evolve consciously as well as organically. And you know that Holmes created this whole teaching as open at the top. It was never meant to be the final word. It was meant to evolve. So many of you have already seen this text, right? The Science of Mind text, and we'll refer to it during today's talk, and we usually pull for it for the readings, but it evolves, and it evolves also organically and scientifically, right? So we know that we are co-creators. Does everybody know that you're a co-creator by now in your life? Please tell me you do. Right. Say, I am a co-creator. And now we're going to add, for my highest and best good. Now and always. Right, so amen, and pass the basket around for collection, we're done. So if you got just one thing out of today, you got to get that you're a co-creator. So there's some people that are in life not knowing that they're a co-creator, but they're co-creating what they're not knowing, right? So the out picturing of our life is the result. It's like if our life is a film about what we really believe about ourselves. Our life is a film. We're living the experience of what our thoughts are. And so if we don't like some of the things that are out picturing and manifest in our life, we got to change, we got to edit. We got to edit, right? We got to change the script. Flip the script, and you can do that easily and effortlessly. That's why over the double doors as you walk in, it's still just as powerful today. Does anybody know what it says? Change your thinking, change your life. And if you haven't seen it, double check it as you're exiting, right over the double doors for a reason. And it's more than your thinking. It's the belief about your thinking, right? That's what's the creative power. So we are co-creators. And so we know that we're co-creators, and we affirmed it out loud. So we have a responsibility, we have an opportunity and authority to create a world in which everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Doesn't that sound good? And that's the global vision of CSL, Center for Spiritual Living. So on this sacred day, we get to unshade the truth, to be inclusive in our cultural and spiritual engagement, and to create safe, mental, spiritual, and physical spaces filled with the excitement of human interaction based on authentic and mutual love and respect. How does that sound? Are you in? Yeah. All right. So we talked about the monthly vision. The monthly theme is pulled by vision. And the truth about this teaching is, right, because we're co-creators, have you ever been dragged by some things that happen in your life? There's a line that you might hear a lot of ministers say, you're either pushed or you're pulled to the teaching. And I guess I might be one of the people that was dragged, somebody, spirit grabbed my hair or my arm and pulled me ugh. Because you can have things happen in your life that are really difficult and some things that you think you can't get past. And that's the pull, right? The pull for you to find that co-creative power that's within you so that you can make a shift and a change, right? We don't need to name examples, do we? It could be financial things. It can be health things, right? It could be relationship things. Are you thinking of some other things? Right? So you could be pushed or you could be pulled. However you find the teaching, whatever works for you, I want you to start practicing that. And so today, the talk is really kind of cool. There's a lot of information, and I'm going to go through some of it kind of quickly. And I don't want you to be worried about it because I created handouts for you at the end that are of our spiritual principles. And so I'm going to leave them right here. And if we run out, all you have to do is give me your address, your mailing address, and I'm going to promise this week to mail them to you, okay? And it's a good reminder of the spiritual principles of the science of mind. So we're going to use this talk today as an opportunity and a launching pad for you to take these ideas, there's 10 of them, the 10 principles, and then we'll talk about how do you apply them, in your daily living. And it's a launching pad for you to consider trying something new, right? You have to change it up. Don't you get bored sometimes? Has anybody done an exercise routine the same way for like many, many years? It's boring. So lately where we have this thing called Well Beats, where you can go into the studio and you could be alone and click on videos that you want to do. And I've been doing it. It tells you how many minutes they are. You can modify them to your ability. And you have your own workout in your own workout space. Isn't that cool and weird? It's cool and weird. And it's been awesome because my body's not used to certain things, right? Standing Pilates. I never did that before. Now I've done it 3 times. And so sometimes the next day you may wake up sore, right? You may wake up like, well, why is that muscle? I didn't even know that was a muscle. and it's sore, right? And it's hurting, and it's a good hurt. And it's the same in our consciousness. Like once you start learning these principles and you apply them to your life, you cannot pretend you don't know. Are you following what I'm saying? It's kind of deep, and I want you to follow what I'm saying. It's a quote. I heard Reverend Michael Beckwith say it before a long time ago at Agape. I've heard other people say it. I've seen posts. An expanded mind cannot retract. Right? So once you know the truth, like kids know, Zoe knows pretty much everything anybody needs to know right now. So afterward, put a mask on and speak to Zoe. She will help you out. She knows joy, right? Ernesto, does she know joy? Like she knows that, okay, if I pee, somebody's going to clean it. I'm about to poop right here in church, and it's cool. Right? Somebody's got me. And that's how the divine looks at you. Right? You are a creation of the Most High God. You are a masterpiece in the mind and the heart and the soul of the divine. So if you could just see yourself the way the divine sees you, and it's not separate from you, you're remarkable. Do you believe it? Let's just say that out loud. I am remarkable. All right. That was like, I am remarkable. Everybody's like so bored. They're like, I am remarkable. What's that? Have some coffee? Listen, are you remarkable? Okay, I am remarkable. Oh, isn't that a little better? Okay, good. And so you're also an energy ball, your energy frequency, right? So we can walk into a space and clear the room if we're in a bad mood, right? Have you ever been drawn to certain people in a space and not drawn? It's your energy. It's automatic. It's who you are, right? So we have to know that we can shift that energy too, right? We can do the things. I want you to learn from when we go through the principles and the daily application of these principles to the daily living. Try some new things. Are you willing? I want you to. I really do. If you've never journaled before, I want you to journal. If you've never taken a yoga class, I want you to take a yoga class. And you modify it for what works for you. If you've never written poetry, try writing poetry. If you've never written music or a song, try writing music and a song. If you've never, what are the things that are in your heart that you'd like to do? Do those things. Right? Try something new. Try a new exercise routine. Walk a different way. Right? Read a different book. You can go into our lending library and sign out a book and borrow it. There's amazing books in there. Just see what you're called to. Oftentimes when you're there's a whole section of guided meditations and short readings in the Science of Mind text. Some of the most amazing things are if you're thinking about a topic, like somebody name a topic. Later on, I can go in the back and just see if it's in there. There's a word that's coming here. Let me see if I can read it. Urge. Urge. Is anybody having an urge? To urge is to push, drive, impel, to ply with motives, arguments, persuasions, to insist upon, to present in an earnest manner. I love Holmes. Do you love Holmes? It's awesome because it's simple and you can try it and apply it to your daily living. So let's go through some of the principles together. And we know that once we know these things and we have a level of understanding, then we can recognize and act from the truth with a capital T, right? We're practicing these things that are always true. So in that regard, you'll remember it. You'll have like an awakening or a remembering to your magnificence, to the time when you were precious and sacred, like Zoe, like where you were so new that you hadn't been undone. You haven't been undone by life or what you've been told by a parent or a teacher or lack of a parent or lack of a teacher or any life experience. Does that make sense? When you read these things, when you hear these spiritual truths, you will immediately recognize that and take that as a sign. If it calls to you, it's your sign, right? I see some head nodding, so I'm going to keep going. The second thing is when we declare the infinitude of the infinite, we acknowledge our interconnectedness, our oneness, and our social and moral responsibility to honor that infinite presence within each person. Now that's hard, because when I was driving here, I was getting on the freeway, and the first thing I did was get cut off. I'm not going to tell you what my mouth said, but it was a reminder, like, where am I going? Oh, to meditation. And in the line, there's no lane, and I was still cut off. I mean, I'm like, oh, you have to practice this because you're going to talk about it. Do you see how practical this gets? And then you're like, oh, okay, so. And then there was this big tanker truck, and I'm not going to tell you what I thought because it was a merging lane, right? And that person beat me, and I'm like, oh, bye, Try to beat this tanker. I mean, this was a big tanker truck going, on, and you're merging into that. So you see, we always have an opportunity to practice, right? So here's some of the spiritual principles, and I'm going to go through them kind of quick. I am going to ask you this: if you have one that you want to talk about more, or something, if you have something you want to throw out, I want you to just raise your hand, and I want to be able to try to address it. The first one is oneness. Does everybody understand what oneness is? Yeah? You got the idea of it? The one infinite reality, we call it many names, but not limited to God. You might hear it in our centers as life, universal spirit, infinite intelligence, first cause, or the thing itself. The one infinite reality is undivided, complete, and whole within itself. The oneness creates everything out of itself and therefore includes both the absolute and relative, tangible and intangible, physical and metaphysical aspects of reality. And if you're not sure about oneness and interconnectedness, watch the BBC. We had it on for some reason, and it was like World of Wonder, and it was showing all these remarkable images of under the sea and the interconnectedness of animals. I mean, it was showing hippopotamuses, and then they go to a certain area, and the fish that they nibble on the hippopotamus's skin to remove parasites and ticks. They eat the dung of the hippopotamus. It's all interconnected. They even showed some sharks and then small fish that usually would be the prey of the shark, but the small fish started to irritate the shark by following it, and they were doing the same thing by, apparently the shark's skin is like a sandpaper, and so they can get rid of things and also take things off the shark. Is that weird? So watch BBC. It's awesome if you want to know more about oneness and interconnectedness. The second principle is love. So love is the self-givingness of the universal spirit through the desire to express itself as terms of creation. Love is impulse, and law is the way of creation. So we got oneness, we got love, we got creation. Creation, so the physical universe is the manifest body of this one infinite reality, and the one infinite reality is more than the physical universe. So creation is an expression of the one infinite reality, and it's inherently good. That's with a capital G, and is ever evolving toward greater expression of good. Then the next principle is a threefold nature: spirit, law, and body. Each individual is made in the image and likeness of the one infinite reality and has these same three aspects. The creative process is the 5th out of 10. This one infinite reality operates through the universal law of cause and effect. The universal law is impersonal, automatic, and intelligent, right? The law receives the direct impress of Spirit's impulse and acts upon it. So even when we're thinking negative, right, or thoughts, you ever have that? Just let them be temporal. If you're really, I want you to experience the human. So it's okay to be angry. It's okay to have negative things, as long as you are controlling those as the co-creator, right? You can work your way through that. You can see that as like storm clouds. We have the most beautiful clouds, don't we? Watch them sometimes, and you can look at the clouds and say, I can think of my thoughts like the clouds. I don't have to put all the power in the one cloud, right? I can separate them out, and I can also watch them pass. So I'm not telling you not to experience the human. I think you should, right? Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be human. But I want you to be in charge of them by watching them pass. And sometimes you got to stomp it out and get really angry and scream and cry and maybe exercise more than you normally would, or take a fast walk and scream and yell and cry and do whatever it is you got to do to get it out. Because, you know what I'm saying? Get it out, whatever it is. You don't have to hurt anybody else. You don't have to even let anybody else know what you're doing. It's none of anybody else's business. And until you correct all that, you're going to be a whirlwind to deal with in everybody else's business, right? So we have to take responsibility and accountability for our own feelings and know that these are real things that are happening. We don't deny those in Science of Mind, right? If there's something going down, try to figure out the root cause of what it is. What is this trying to teach me? What is the lesson that I am trying to learn from what is in my experience? Okay? Because lessons are repeated until learned. And in spirit, in this truth that we're teaching, there's no good or bad. Only we call things good or bad. So if you're not enjoying something you're experiencing, you are the co-creator. You told me so earlier. So number 6, spiritual laws. The universal spirit maintains harmony, equilibrium, and balance through spiritual law. There are various expressions and uses of spiritual law. For example, the law of correspondence, the law of attraction, the law of giving and receiving. Spiritual laws are impersonal, consistent, and intelligent, and are always operating consciously. Consciously, individuals can learn to use these laws to create changes, right? Does that make sense? Because you can use, there are examples, if you were following politics or news, there are many examples of how to use some of these same principles of science of mind, and you can create some of the things that were created, right? So the law is impersonal. There's a biblical scripture, right? Something about it rains on the just and the unjust. 7, spiritual beings. Do you know that you're a spiritual being? Yeah? Okay. So that's really important to try to come to grips with for yourself, however that looks like for you. So this one infinite reality is both transcendent and immanent, and individual human beings are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe, having a human experience, and that's just our true nature. The 8th one is freedom. Freedom is the birthright of every individual. We are free to choose and create our experience of life. Let's say that together on the 4th of July as an affirmation. I am free. It is my birthright. I am free to choose and create my own experience of life. Okay, very good. The 9th one is heaven. Heaven is a state of awareness, right? It's our true nature. We experience our true nature to the degree we become conscious of it. We actively seek to know the true nature of every individual and celebrate each individual's unique expression. This experience of our true nature is sure to be attained by all. And I'm going to tell you one other thing on freedom. When you read the Science of Mind text, there are many, many references to freedom. And so even though it's the 4th of July, it's not the greeting card type of freedom that Holmes is talking about. It's your spiritual liberation that Holmes is speaking about. It's that when you realize that you are a co-creator with the universe, that you can become more mindful, right, of what's passing through. What are the cloud thoughts passing through? And then you can delete and edit and rescript and change and shift and focus toward the things that are going to serve you for your highest and greatest good. And the last one is eternal life. The one infinite reality is eternal. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual forever and forever expanding. And so let me just go through them really fast again without the details. Again, remember I told you it was going to be a lot, and I have a handout for you up here. Oneness, love, creation, threefold nature, creative process, spiritual laws, spiritual beings, freedom, heaven, and eternal life. So how do you apply these spiritual principles to your daily living? Well, you might try things like some of you came today, and I really loved it, for the meditation. 15 to 20 minutes of stillness and silence. That's a way to practice. Affirmative prayer. One of the new banners that Eileen helped us to provide is the 5 steps of our affirmative prayer. And so when you see somebody up here and we do the affirmative prayer, normally we go through each of the 5 steps. And you can learn how to do this for yourself, right? And you can make notes. And then what I encourage you to do is jot down your prayers. Say them out loud. Post them on your mirrors at home as affirmations, right? Just make sure everything you're doing is life-affirming, love-based, unconditionally loving, no judgment, and it's in the present tense. It's right here and it's right now. This is the thing that I really love about this whole teaching. It's right here and it's right now. It's not like after I do some X, Y, and Z. It's not if I'm worthy, because we had the reading today, thank you, Iris, about worthiness. You were born worthy. Now, how much of the good are you willing to capture for yourself? That's optional. You follow me? So if you want help with the prayers, just jot them down. There's no wrong prayer. Let a practitioner take a look. Let a minister take a look. We're all here to help uplift and up-level and support you, always. So we'd be happy to take a look. We're not going to tell you this is right and this is wrong. We're going to say, why don't you try adding this? Why don't you, we may give a suggestion, and we may just say it's perfect. Earlier today, I had a conversation with somebody about prayer. You're going to listen to the people that you never heard pray more than you're going to hear and listen, and you're going to be moved more by, in my opinion, the people you never hear pray. Just like it was beautiful to hear your voice, Iris, and with the reading. People pay attention, right? We pay attention to what is unique, and there's no way you can do it wrong. And the one thing I want you to always do, and if you're listening at home, it's super important, always make sure whatever you're creating and co-creating is for your highest and best good. It should be your spiritual caveat. Are you following me? I want it always, because we can create things, like there was a time when I was going through all these classes in 1996 to 2000, where I created some stuff just to make sure I didn't want it. I was like, oh no, I don't want that. And it was happening all around me so that I could be mindful and move forward. And I almost felt like, do you remember the show Bewitched? That's giving my age away. Remember Tabitha? If she was reading a kid's story, she could blink the elephants and the giraffes in her room, right? So we have that same kind of power. So you don't need the whole circus, right? You can control it. And so I want you to always just know and repeat and affirm in all the prayer work that you're doing, all the journaling. This is for my highest and best good right here and right now. And remember, your soul's evolution, it's a journey. It's always moving higher and higher and up and up and up, right? All right. So that's practicing the presence. We talked about meditation. You'll hear the word mindfulness. You'll hear the word visioning. Visioning is super important. It's the whole monthly theme, right? It's how you create things and you get a download, a spiritual download of an insight. It could be colors, it could be tastes, it could be smells, it could be words, it could be symbols. And when you're doing visioning in a group and more than one person has those same tastes, smells, symbols, words that might come, pay attention to that, because that's the group vision. That's and you want to also include in the vision that it's for the highest and best good. There was a time years ago we were visioning here, and the symbol of a bee came to us. And then we created a logo from the bee. And I hope that one time, even though it's been maybe 6 or 7 years that we've done this, maybe we'll have an academy with kids on how to teach these principles, right? And the daily living. And maybe their little insignia is a bee. Because think of how cute that could be. You could have a summer camp that's the busy bees or whatever it is. But we all were visioning, and it's not out of the blue, right? It's from this group intention and energy that the symbol of a bee came. Isn't that weird and cool? And there's also times where you're practicing visioning and you say, oh, I got nothing. God must, Spirit must, the divine must love everybody, but not me. It doesn't work. And then I can guarantee you, it's always working. So sometimes the most powerful things is if you personally feel like the human you with the small h is like, nah, it can work for everybody else, but not me. That's where their worthiness reading comes in, and you're like, and then later on, it could be a day later, it could be a week later, boom. When you get that download, it could be in the middle of the night. Sleep with a little empty journal or a pad of paper, because guess what? If you're practicing this, you're going to get the download. And you know what? Sometimes for me, when I get it, it's a lot. And I have to write it all, or I'm going to wake up and forget it all. You know? So just be willing to wake up. Are you willing? That's part. So I am willing. I am willing to spiritually wake up. All right. So now you can be an even more powerful co-creator. There's other things. Direct revelation, right? There's people who have insight. It doesn't have to make sense, right? Boom. You could be that channel. You could be that inspiration. There's self-awareness. Silence will create this spaciousness for you. Gratitude, right? Just let your... Sometimes there's a saying, gratitude is prayer sufficient. If you really have genuine gratitude in your heart, it's enough of a prayer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you're not thanking anybody outside of you. You're just grateful for everything. Have you ever just taken a walk? You could smell a flower. You could see a dog. You could see a rabbit. You could check the lizards, right? Look at the color. Sometimes lately, especially the sunsets have blown me away. Have you ever just been blown away by the colors in the clouds? So that's what I'm talking about. And there's other things. Compassion. Can you have a compassionate heart for the guy who cuts you off? Or I didn't even look in the car because I was like, some people get shot just for looking in the car, right? I thought, I'm going to live to do this talk. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, who this is crazy. Our world can be crazy. So we have to be mindful to be this group energy that's living in this higher frequency so we can raise the entire planet to what we actually want to see. Why do we have to know all this stuff? Because you have to practice compassion all the time. There's a lot of things that are sad. There's intentional manifestation and also sacred study. If you've never taken a class, take a class. What are you waiting for? The only thing you've got to lose is your old way of being comfortable. So there's a great quote from The Science of Mind, page 36 and 37. It says, "In our ignorance of the truth, we have misused the highest power we possess. And so great is this power, so complete is our freedom in it, so absolute the domain of law through it, that the misuse of this power has brought upon us the very conditions from which we suffer." And that wraps up today. Happy 4th of July, everybody, with much love. Here's Gilman. And the Dream Band. Where's the Dream Band at? Where's my drummer? Where's my drummer? Eddie, maybe see if that volume thing works in the back room. It doesn't work? Okay. We used to be where we could get the dial in the kids' room and then everybody could... We'll get it back.
So this song sounds a little, you probably know it and you're welcome to sing along. Sounds a little possessive on the surface of it. But I like to think that this land belongs to our children and we're just caretakers. 1, 2, 3. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that in the skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. Let me hear you. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and I rambled, followed my footsteps to the spark all around me. Well, just sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Take it away out. As the sun came shining, I was strolling through the wheat fields waving and the dust cloud rolling. As the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Hey, give yourselves a hand. Here's Joe.
Here I am again. Okay. Thank you, Gilman. That was wonderful, of course, in the Dream Band. Yeah, let's hear it again for these guys. Fabulous. What a difference a full band makes, boy. So beginning Tuesday night, July 6th at 6:30 p.m., Frankie Jones will be facilitating a 4-week book study on Zoom on the powerful book, The Four Agreements. If you're not familiar with the book, it's just wonderful, highly recommended. And you can contact Frankie at tmfrankiejones, all one word, at gmail.com. Once again, that's tmfrankiejones at gmail.com, and that's Frankie with an IE at the end. So, and you can sign up for further information. Wednesday night service is your midweek spiritual boost with licensed practitioner Reverend Dr. Renee Hart. Renee leads us in a lovely meditation and then inspires us with a weekly inspirational message. Attend by going to Facebook Live or YouTube each Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. And that's facebook.com/cslredlands.org. You are invited to join us for more live songs from the Dream Band and potluck fellowship time today, immediately following service. Plan to stay and visit for a while. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Okay, and now it's time for our offering, everybody's favorite time. So the ushers are going to come forth. And this is a time where we practice the principle of law of circulation, right? So I want everybody to realize the same portal from which we give from is the same portal from which we receive from. So and always give freely. So if you can't give, it's okay. You could just do a blessing on the basket. Some people have walked in this place and given $10,000 when we needed an air conditioning unit. So we have a range, right? We don't judge. It doesn't matter. And do what you can, but practice. In your life, practice giving. Practice generosity. Practice self-compassion. And watch as you expand the portal. It's like exercise. If you want a bicep, well, you might want to work out the bicep, right? So you practice this giving. You practice the receiving. It works. And so you can go, if you're watching us remotely on Facebook Live or our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. David can tell you how. How does that go, David? cslredlands.org /YouTube. We need about 40 more people so we can have our own channel to subscribe. You can make a donation on Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. You can bring in a check to the secured mailbox or drop in cash, whatever you love. So let's just take your tithe, your blessing, your offering. Just hold it in your hand or your heart space and just say together with me, from the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world, and it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Here, Holly, thank you. Let me give this one over there. Thanks.
Let's try this again.
There we go.
As I give, so do I receive, joyfully, gratefully. As I give, so do I receive, fully and freely. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive.
So thank you, everybody, for your generous heart and your beautiful giving. Just outstretch your hands, if you would, and give some good energy to this collection. And just so you know, it's awesome with technology. The collection comes in all week long. Isn't that amazing? There's checks that come in. There's, Facebook too, and other things come in. It's amazing. So we thank all the people watching. Who are you? And come here once in a while and say hello to us. There's hundreds of people watching. Who are these people? We want to meet you. Send $1 just to see if you're real. And, right? Who are all these clicks and likes and views? Like, who are all these people? We love them all, don't you? I do. So, it's all good. Just say that. Do you feel it? Now let it be so. And as Holmes would say, expect the good. Right? Walk around with great expectancy that it's true, that it's so, that it's yours right here and right now. And Emma Curtis Hopkins would say, it's your good. You ought to have it. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, ushers, for your service. And now it's time for the closing healing prayer. So if anybody on the Dream Band wants to go for it, we especially like loud cymbals during our closing prayer. So let's just invite everybody just to turn within. Just let the outer eyes close if you're comfortable. And just allow now for your inner eye to open. Keep breathing, for this is the breath of God that you breathe. With each inhale, you breathe in the divine, you breathe in this universal intelligence and love and this grace. And you are recognized and known and seen as the divine sees you, perfect, whole, complete. Nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing needing, nothing wanting. Right where you are, God is. Just say that together with me. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, God is. And it's from this place of unity and oneness that I speak a word of blessing, knowing that everything unfolds for your highest and best good individually and all of us collectively. That there's no mistakes in God, there's no mistakes in me, there's no mistakes in you. And so even if something appears chaotic in the world, just call forth for higher understanding, call forth for the peace that passes human understanding, call forth for the lesson to be learned and the world to be healed. And so we send in continued prayers to Surfside in Florida, where they're still uncovering a demolished building. We see prayers of peace as the troops have left Afghanistan. We bless each person who's in the room, who's been of sacred service in any military branch. We thank you for our continued freedom. We bless all places where there are war or famine, struggle or strife. Just see in your mind's eye supplies reaching those that are in need. Just see that continually in your mind's eye. hold the notion that Spirit knows, that God knows, the divine knows how to make a way where we may not be able to see a way. And that's for all of us. It's for me, it's for you. We bless all the children everywhere. We know that they have everything that they need to live a perfect life, and we hermetically seal each of them and all of them in our mind's eye now, that they may only know the joy that they know now, that there's always this beautiful freedom that's their birthright. Call forth your own name in the sanctuary space, Brother Mark. Call forth anyone you hold in prayer right now in your heart. Just call those names out loud so we have it in the collective. Justin and Jason. It's okay, Zoe. It's all good, baby. Call forth someone. Just see that there's only perfect God and perfect man. Perfect God, perfect man. Perfect God, perfect man. And it all works together in order and in harmony and grace. And so I speak a word this day for all prayers, even before the last word is spoken and uttered. It is answered by the divine. It is answered by the law of life that only knows to say yes. It says yes to your every thought. So we let all lower vibrations just pass like those clouds, and only the higher vibrations that are for our highest and best good to come, for all of our needs to be met. Say with me, I allow and declare all of my needs to be met for my highest and best good. This is the truth. I speak it freely on this Independence Day and invite you to just allow for your heart space to fill with gratitude. Let's breathe it in, gratitude. Exhale out even more gratitude. Even more gratitude in. Do you feel it's already done? It's got to be done. I spoke this word to the law of life. I declare it, affirm it. We have 2 or more gathered. So it is done, it is so, and I expect the good now. I invite you to expect only the good that's for your highest and best good, right here, right now, and forevermore. And together we affirm it and declare it and say together, and so it is. That was awesome. That was like WWE awesome. Thank you guys. And now Gilman and the Dream Band with the closing song. You may rise for that. And stay after and celebrate the 4th with us. Thank you, everybody. Love you.
Once again, I'd like to introduce the band here. We have Al Yankee on the keyboards, and the wonderful David Enos on the bass, and my own personal master of time and space, Tony Barbarotta on the drums. And yours truly. Yeah, we're going to just, this will be our closing song, but we do have a couple songs afterward just for this special occasion. And one of them is America the Beautiful, but Al Yankee did a beautiful Science of Mind revision on the lyrics. So a few people in the back didn't get the lyrics. There's some on the empty tables up here. But we're going to do this one first. There was a time in my life thought I'd have to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Some only if for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Okay, here's Al.
So again, if you feel like singing along, that's fine. Just check out the lyrics. You guys know this. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plains. America, America, in grace and liberty, embrace the good of brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriots' dream that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, be sorry, till selfish can no longer stain the banner of the free. America, America, in grace and liberty, embrace the good of brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. All right. Happy Fourth.
Hey, that's Al Yankee for you. Do we have somebody at the door? Oh, that guy. Welcome. Very, very welcome. Okay, do a couple more quick ones here. One, two, three, four. Stevie Wonder. Like a long, lonely stream, I keep running towards a dream, moving on, moving on. Like a branch on a tree, I keep reaching to be free, moving on, moving on. 'Cause there's place in the sun where there's hope for everyone, where my poor restless heart's gotta run. There's a place in the sun, and before my life is done, gonna find me a place in the sun. Like an old dusty road, I get weary from the load, moving on, moving on. Like this tired, troubled earth, I've been rolling since my birth, moving on, moving on. 'Cause there's a place in the sun where there's hope for everyone, where my poor restless heart's gotta run. There's a place in the sun, and before my life is done, gotta find me a place in the sun. Chorus. There's a place in the sun where there's hope for everyone, where my poor restless heart just gotta run. There's a place in the sun, and before my life is done, gotta find me a place in the sun. All right, one more real quick one here. Just because.
Cuz. Just cuz.
Well, if you ever plan to motor west, take my way, that's a highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it winds from Chicago to LA, or more than 2,000 miles away. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it winds through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri. Oklahoma City looks so pretty. You'll see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona. Don't forget Winona, Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Won't you get hip to this time of tip? Plan to take that California trip. Get your kicks on Route 66. Yeah, well, it winds through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri. Oklahoma City looks so pretty. You see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona. Don't forget Winona, Barstow, San Bernardino. Won't you get hip to this time to tip? Plan to take trip. Get your kicks on Route 66. Yeah, get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Al Yankee, David, Tony, yours truly. We'll see you next time. Pizza time.